take out a white sheet of paper, draw a T on it, and on the left side, write what you want.
Right.
Start there. Fill it up as much as you want. Everything. I want a new car. I want a new house.
Yeah.
I want this. I want that, right? That's fine. And if you have a family, if you have a spouse, if you have a partner, sit down with them. Have them add all kinds. Have your kids add stuff on there. Then this is the part that a lot of people don't like, right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
There's a reason you don't have that now.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up? All right, welcome to the next level. Got my man Jacob Marlow with us today. What's up, Jacob?
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Awesome, dude. How are you?
Fantastic. Enjoying this soppy weather.
Yes, you are. Yes. Well, you're thankful you didn't come like a few months ago because it would have been colder and this would have been snow instead of rain.
I would have had you guys come down to Florida.
Yeah, you're like, I'm busy that day. You got any openings in August?
Right.
It's funny, though, is it's Connecticut. People think it's always cold. It's not. You come here in the summer, it's humid. So, like,
is that right?
85, 90 here feels like 110 sometimes. Yeah. Which is funny. You're from Colorado.
Colorado born and raised.
What part of Colorado?
So raised in Denver.
Okay.
When I moved down to Florida, I moved out of Lakewood, so just west of
Got
Denver.
it. Dude, I didn't understand, like, dry climate and the difference until I went out there. This was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We were at the other company selling, and I earned a trip. It was like a Valentine's Day weekend trip to Steamboat Springs.
Right.
You ever been there?
Yeah, Steamboat.
Dude, it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's beautiful up there.
But now I'm from here. My wife's from New York, so we're like, it's Colorado. It's going to be cold, right?
Yeah.
It's winter.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought like a snowsuit, big boots, all this stuff, because they're like, we're going to be out, riding snowmobiles, all this stuff. Dude, we get there. There's snow everywhere. It was like 32 degrees. I'm like, it's not cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it was eye-opening for me. Like, holy shit. That's
right.
Now, I know people say, like, oh, down like Arizona, it gets up to like 100. Oh, it's dry heat. Dude, 100's 100.
Yeah.
I don't care how dry it is.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyways, that's nothing to do with insurance. But it was beautiful. Steamboat Springs was awesome.
Yeah, Steamboat is beautiful.
But we're talking about some sales stuff. So last year was your first full year with us.
Yes, sir.
No sales background, right?
None.
Came from auto body business. Did that for 8 years, and you sold over $400K with us your first year.
Yep.
Now your first month, how much did you sell?
A little over 6,000.
So yes, and I mean, if you're selling $6,000 a month, you cannot make money.
Right.
Right. Like I love when Sean draws it out. Like, have you ever seen him do this, where he takes $15,000 a month? He's like, I'm gonna sell $15K. Okay, say you're at 100. Right.
Right.
Here's your advance. Here's your placement, your persistency, and then you bought leads. Right.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, you have to drive, so there'd be gas.
Yeah.
But by the time he breaks it down, he's like, you made like $3,000.
Right.
Get a job if that's what you're gonna do. Right, like you have to sell over $20K a month to 100%. Even consider
100%.
to be making money, right?
That's right, absolutely, and that's the truth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first month you sold 23 was like, oh shit, this is actually money. Like,
right, yeah. Wait a minute, my account's going the other way.
Yeah.
Wait, what's up with this?
It's fun when that starts. They're like, wait, I got paid and I paid bills and there's still money in there.
That's right.
Like, I remember the first week we were that happened to me at the old company. Like, we would go out to like Chili's, things like that at night. And then I remember leaving. I was like, yo, Sean, I actually have like over $1,000 in my account and all my bills are paid. And like, it's like, I can't remember the last time, I don't remember this ever happening.
Right, yeah.
But it's a cool feeling.
It is, yeah.
But I want to go through your first year. Because
Okay.
there's people out there watching right now, Jacob, that maybe they are where you were back, prior in 2023, looking for a new opportunity.
Right.
Maybe they've never done sales, and they think, well, if I want to get in life insurance sales, I better have a sales background.
Not true.
Not true.
Not true.
Matter of fact, that's usually a detriment.
100%.
A lot of time, I mean, you've recruited somebody. I know you want to build a bigger team, but you've dealt with agents.
Absolutely.
If I said, dude, I got a 25-year-old kid who comes from, he's an auto mechanic.
Right.
He's a hard worker, but I got this guy, dude, he's 52 years old. He's been selling for 30 years. Which one do you want?
That 25-year-old.
Yeah.
That much, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, could the 52-year-old get contracted sooner? Sure.
Right.
But what's he going to tell you? I don't need the training.
Yeah.
Just give me the leads.
Yeah,
I'm a salesman.
Yeah.
This is what they say. They all say, I can sell ice to an Eskimo.
That's right.
Oh, God, please stop.
First off, we're not selling ice.
Yeah, so we don't have any ice. There's no Eskimos around here. So that's not going to work. But talk to me about that first year.
Yeah.
What, scheduling wise, what were some of the ups and downs? Like, basically, if I said, Jacob, how the hell did you sell $400K your first year?
Yeah.
What would you say?
To me, it was just jam-packing that schedule.
Yeah.
You know, and staying busy, and really honing the craft, continuing to build relationships with clients on a deeper level, listening to those clients and finding out their true needs.
Yeah.
And referrals.
Yeah.
Referrals are huge. Okay, so we helped you out. We got you covered, got your family. Who else can we help?
Yeah.
Go to church on Sunday. Give them my cards.
Right.
Get on their backs.
I love that you said that. We had Natalie Green up here recently,
Yep.
and she said about 15-20% of her business is referrals.
Yes, she is incredibly good at referrals. Yes.
Absolutely. And there were ups and downs your first year.
100%.
Right? Like, I think one of the hardest things in this business is not riding that roller coaster on either side.
Right.
Some people struggle with the ups, right? Like, dude, I closed 5 in a row. I'm the best salesman ever. Oh, my God. And then they crash and burn.
Absolutely.
And then some people struggle with the lows.
Well, and if those are really going to, throw a stick in your spokes, so to speak, that you got to get on that. You've got to change that.
How did you manage that last year?
Well, I really took from what one of our agents and leaders said, Logan Leah. He said, just maintain a solid 6. When it's good, don't go way up high.
Okay.
When it's bad, don't go way down low. Maintain that 6. And that's difficult to do. It's always easier said than done. But it's, try to take the emotional side out of it so it's not quite such a roller coaster, and just focus at the task at hand and go after it.
Right. I remember Sean used to say about riding the highs, like, dude, it's not you.
Right.
Meaning you ain't that special.
Right.
It's a system, number one. And it's also people that have asked for help.
Right.
So it's like I'm saying, have you ever done sales before? This is sales, but this is like, it's like diet sales. You know what I mean? Like, it's not full-blown sales.
Yeah, it's not.
Because people have asked for something.
Yes.
It's like you talked about, people come into a store. Where was it? A tire shop.
Tire shop, yeah.
Like,
you roll in with a flat tire.
Right. Do you really have to sell me on getting a new tire?
Yeah,
like, I have no option.
Right, yeah.
And it's kind of like that here in a way.
It is.
Dealing with leads.
It is. Now, I mean, there's a certain way to navigate it where, finding the right product for, your clients within their budgets and, what they do qualify for. But it's also, it's not necessarily about selling the client, because that policy does no good for them if it's taking food off their table.
Right.
If they can't afford it. If it's not going to get them to the end.
Yeah.
If they can't carry that policy along. So it's a little bit of a balance where, money's good. Money's nice. We all like money.
Sure.
But there's a bigger picture to it.
Right.
And that's finding something that is genuinely going to do its purpose and going to be maintainable for that client.
Absolutely. You mentioned on your True Talk, and I want to dig more into this here, the difference between that first month and then the following months. And you said the biggest thing you changed was you stopped focusing on you.
100%.
You started focusing on the client, right?
Absolutely.
First of all, how did you know you needed to change that?
When the bank account was empty, and
So you knew something was wrong.
I knew, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's like you said earlier, this is simple. It's not easy.
Right.
And there's a lot of people being extremely successful in this. And it's, if you can copy and paste that, that's what it comes down to. So if it's not working out for you, it's not the system, it's you.
Sure.
And so I had to take that and own that and say, not even necessarily say or anything that I changed directly. I had to ask for help, because a lot of times, if you're immersed in something, you can't always see what is, your Achilles heel, so to speak.
Like, you knew something was off because of the lack of result, but 100%. You didn't pinpoint what it was.
Right.
How did you figure out that, I'm just focusing on myself too much?
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, ask for help.
Yeah.
And also, okay, so these people, they're needing help. They're coming to me, and I'm falling short somehow.
Yeah.
And where is that? So it's pivoting and focusing more on the client's needs and genuinely listening to them and, you know, kind of separating the need to sell and replacing that with the desire to help these clients and put them in the best position.
Yeah, which by doing that, you'll make more money. You'll help more people.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, I don't want to say it's hard to say what's my favorite thing about it. All of it.
Yeah.
But it feels good. Like I wouldn't feel good selling you something that is not going to benefit you in this way.
100%.
Right? Like no knock on anyone that sells it, but like, dude, if I'm knocking on your door to sell you Tupperware or overpriced vacuum cleaner.
If you roll in with a flat tire, I'm not going to try to sell you new wheels.
Correct.
You know?
Exactly.
That does nothing for
nothing.
you.
100%. But I think that's what the beauty about what we're doing is if you take care of your clients, put them in a better position, it also comes back to you.
100%, tenfold. You know, you get in what you put in, and the clients can tell. You know, commission breath is a real thing.
Sure.
And if you're just hyper focusing on the dollar signs, it's not going to be what it could be for you.
Talk to me about schedule, because I think one of the biggest mistakes we made a few years, probably 5-6 years ago, right after 2020, all stuff's going on, and there was this mentality with a lot of our agents here that anybody could do this.
Right.
And they sold a dream to a lot of people.
Right.
And, everybody came.
Yeah.
And you know what happens with that, Jacob, is you get debt, bad agents, things of that nature, right?
Absolutely. And then you get a reputation. Oh,
100%.
man, those guys over there, what a racket. You
right.
know.
And the people that do this right, dude, it takes hard work. It takes both hard mentally work, hard physical work, but for brand new agents watching that, they go, I mean, we're in March, we're in April.
Yes.
You can still hit Hall of Fame if you start today.
Absolutely.
Eric Schmidt, you know Eric Schmidt?
Yep.
Guy upstairs. Well, he's not upstairs. He's in Hartford now. He's moved. But he joined us around April his first year, and he hit Hall of Fame. He was kind of one of it was like the 4-minute mile. It was like one of the first to do that. Then we started seeing people join like mid-year hitting it.
Yeah.
But for people that are looking at this like, dude, I'm brand new. I need to make money. I want to help people. I want to hit Hall of Fame this year. What was your schedule like? What's a Hall of Fame schedule?
A Hall of Fame schedule is, you know, not hitting snooze, not cutting it down to the line, and, you know, not just clocking in and clocking out. It's it goes beyond that. It's, you know, taking care of yourself physically, mentally.
Walk me through your day. I don't know if it's the same now, but early on, you get up, what time? You go to the gym? What do you do?
So the routine as it stands now, which is similar to, you know, I wasn't as accountable with the gym, but nowadays it's rise at 6 a.m., hit the gym, come back home, you know, cup of coffee. I usually try to kind of clear the palate in a sense and set my intentions for the day. Okay. And I manifest, you know, I speak out, you know, bring the right people to me today, or, you know, let me find the right products for them. That, and then, you know, feed yourself, obviously, you know, good breakfast, you know, make it for yourself, you know, don't get that processed crap. And then, just hit it hard. You know, it's.
What's that? Are you you're doing one call closes? You're doing virtual telesales? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we're doing telesales right now, and
how many appointments do you have on your schedule before you even start?
Well, I mean, it does fluctuate, so that's kind of that's hard to say. Yeah. But as many as I can tolerate. You know, I try to jam pack it, but I also try to, you know, give and dedicate a lot of time to these clients, so that, you know, because, you know, it could be a 30-minute appointment, it could be an hour and a half appointment.
Are you booking them on the hour, every half hour?
It just depends. It's about every half hour hour. Yeah, so
got it. And on an average day, how much, like, what time are you spending in appointments? Like what window is that? Is it, you know, 5-6 hours?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably closer to 6 hours.
6 hours a day. Yep. Yeah. And are you booking appointments or one call closing, or a mixture?
It's a mixture. It's of both. Yeah.
Got it. And you're meeting with clients how many days a week?
Well, it depends, because I actually do a lot of out of state sales as well.
Okay.
So meeting with them it's not very often. To be honest, in Florida.
Yeah. No, I'm saying not meeting virtual
virtual.
Yeah. Like how many days a week are you running appointments?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
7 days.
Not Saturday.
Okay.
Not
All
Saturday.
right. Got it. But 5 days a week.
There are times where it's Saturday.
Got it.
You know, or Sunday. If what needs to be done gets done.
Got it.
You know, and you know, the lady doesn't always like it.
Sure.
But she likes the lifestyle that comes with it. So
that's a good point too. And I'm assuming, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you've had some conversations with her, like, hey, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, and it's been a big adjustment.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you do have to kind of become a different person in a sense. You have to grow into this space in order for it to be extremely fruitful for you. Where you know, like I told you on True Talk, it's this isn't necessarily here to supply and keep your old lifestyle afloat.
Right.
You know, that old you kind of has to die, whereas you need to build a lifestyle that supports this business.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So, and that looks different to each person, and especially when you have a partner and you're doing it, you know, side by side with them, those conversations have to be had. You know,
yeah.
It's you know, this in time will come before us. That doesn't take away from how I feel about us or anything like that. But
right.
What needs to get done needs to get done.
Yeah, and it all boils back to what do you want? Like,
right.
I remember early on in this business, the guys told me, take out a white sheet of paper, draw a T on it, and on the left side, write what you want.
Right.
Start there. Fill it up as much as you want. Everything. I want a new car. I want a new house.
Yeah.
I want this. I want that. Right. That's fine. And if you have a family, if you have a spouse, if you have a partner, sit down with them. Have them add all kinds. Have your kids add stuff on there. Then this is the part that a lot of people don't like. Right. That's what you want.
Yeah.
There's a reason you don't have that now.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up?
Right.
Oh, I have to give up stuff?
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Right. You're going to have to give up some time.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to give up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things you're going to maybe you have to give up going to some games. Maybe you have to give up going to there's things, but the longer the want list is, the longer that give up list better be as well.
And to be honest, I mean, if those things on your want side aren't motivation enough to give up certain things within your life, then you may need to look inward and reanalyze those wants, because are those truly going to be fulfilling?
Right.
Or is that truly what you want out of life? Because, you know, money and materialistic things are nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, money is a tool to create memories.
Correct.
And to experience life.
Right.
So it's, it's just important to kind of keep that in perspective.
Absolutely. And we talked about the importance of what we do, and you said before we got on, you've had one death claim, right?
Yeah.
When did that happen, and what was that like?
That happened probably about, you know, I've been very blessed with some healthy clients. That was about 7 months in.
Okay.
And it really made it real.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit.
Right.
That is what this is for, you know, and it kind of even more so brought out the pride in what I am doing for these clients and these families, because it's like, all right, it's a job well done. And like, you know, that it sucks.
Absolutely.
Because that family just took a hit.
How'd you find out? Carrier, client?
Through
Carrier.
Yeah. What is this chargeback for?
Right. Oh, so you saw it as a chargeback. Like, wait a minute.
And then I look into it. But no, you know, with that, it's like, you know, it's an awful time for that family.
Sure.
But it's a little bit of a nice moment for me, because I know that I was able to play a part in alleviating some of that burden that they're going through. And they're not going to have to stress about that.
Sure.
You know, and like that bottom line is what we're doing this for.
Correct. Yeah, it's like, we're not sitting there, oh, yay, they died. But they would have died regardless.
Right.
I believe that anyway. They didn't die because you sold life insurance.
Right. 100%.
But because you did your job.
Right.
And that's the thing, too. Like, I'm so amazed. No, you did your job.
Right.
You did it the right way.
Correct.
Awesome. But because of that, like you said, you now alleviate the financial piece. And that's why we do so important.
Yeah.
We're all going to die, dude. No 100%. One gets out of here alive, right?
You're guaranteed.
No. But if we can put something in place so that when that happens, money is not what they're worried about.
Yeah.
Dude, most people worry about money all day long.
100%.
So that same person now lost their spouse, mom, dad, whatever.
Right.
How much more are they going to worry about money?
Right. Or, what are they going to have to sacrifice? And
right.
I'm sorry, we have to cancel that trip because, and that's where it's just important to, hold yourself to the highest level and standards and making sure that you're doing what is absolutely 100% right for these families because that's what we're doing it for.
Right. You said make it real. And I think just about everyone I've ever asked about a death claim says the same thing, makes it real. How does that then change the way you deal with clients after that?
Sometimes you have to put it into perspective for these people. If, all right, cool. Thank you for the information. We're going to think about it.
Right.
Okay. Well, what if when you guys go to dinner tonight, something happens? What if tomorrow something happens? Because we don't know how much time we have left on our clocks.
Right.
And so I think by bringing in those kind of third-party experiences or just being raw with these clients, helps put it into perspective that it's, there's a reason why you inquired about this and there's a reason why, this is very important. And it is time sensitive because you don't know when you're going to get diagnosed with cancer.
Correct.
You don't know when, something awful is going to happen.
Yeah.
But there are things to put in place to, protect you from that.
Right. Because, it's easy when they go, thanks for the info. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, it's easy to walk away. Like
100%.
They're not interested, Jacob. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. No, you wouldn't have closed them either. Like you convinced yourself that I did everything.
Yeah.
But to your point, they don't know when this is going to happen.
Right.
Like I remember meeting with mortgage protection clients, and they get this letter in the mail. We're all in home back then, but it was a mortgage event. You bought a house, you refi, whatever you did.
Yeah.
They filled it out because it was fresh on their mind.
Right.
I went out to the house. I met with you, and a lot of times it'd come down to, me trying to sell them not wanting to buy, and they may say something like, well, dude, I just moved in, Jacob, and I don't really know my bills yet, but it's just not a good time for this.
They're
right
selling
now.
You at that
They're
point.
selling me, right? And I remember what I started saying to them at that point. I'd go, Jacob, let me that's fine, but let me ask you something. You filled this out because you just bought this house. This is fresh on your mind right now. This is important to you right now. You know how much it's going to cost right now. I don't know if you'd get approved. Based on what you told me, sounds like you would. But if I leave your house today, I can tell you this. Nobody else is coming back out here.
Right.
You're not going to meet with anybody else. You've already seen it.
You're not going to reach back out.
Correct.
This is going to be off.
This is it.
Yeah.
So I'd say this. Do me a favor. Instead of telling me you're going to get back, can you just say out loud right now that you're not going to get life insurance?
Yeah.
And that when you die, you don't care what happens to this house and your family?
100%.
And they would stop. And I wouldn't be screaming. I'm just like, just say that out loud.
And it's not coming from a place of, trying to,
right. What are you, selfish? Like, I'm not screaming out.
But that's where, that is part of our job. We have to be raw and sometimes brutally honest with these people.
Absolutely.
And that's our responsibility. So.
And what you'll learn is, everybody has this line, right? And we're over here. They're over here.
Right.
Okay. Most people go, right about here.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm all set. Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Right? I'm not asking you to come over here.
Right.
But, dude, go about halfway.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what what if you were to pass away tonight, what would happen?
Right.
Just ask.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you came from auto buy. You're not challenging the client. You're like, dude, your car's smashed.
Yeah.
Here's what it's going to cost, bro. You want to fix it or not?
And you might piss some people off.
Sure.
A lot of people don't like being put on the spot like that.
Correct.
And but when you do that, or what I like to do is I like to really touch on the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You can think about it. But just think about this. If you were to pass away tonight, what is your daughter going to do financially? Is she going to be able to cover your final expenses?
Right.
Because if so, that's fine.
Sure.
I'll take you off my list. We're good. We're good here.
Yeah. But that burden's going to fall on her.
Yeah, think about that.
Yep. And if you've done your job and you've got enough information and we've connected, then I know what your kids do for a living.
Right.
I know whether they're homeowners or not. I know whether they can afford to take care of a funeral,
Right.
let alone a mortgage payment or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But you got to do your job.
100%.
And so in the beginning, when you would get these objections, was it uncomfortable to push through? Was it uncomfortable to bring up that conversation of death if you died
100%.
tonight?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it was an easy way out.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Well, I tried.
Right.
I talked with them.
Yeah, I showed up.
No.
I talked to them.
They said, no, what do you want me to do?
Correct.
I can't buy it for them.
Right.
But that, I mean, to be honest, that comes full circle into holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
Hitting the gym. No one wants to wake up, get out of their nice, warm, cozy bed and go
Correct.
lift heavy objects.
Right.
But you do that, you put yourself through that so that when you are faced with those objections, you will step into that uncomfortable zone.
Right.
It's less of an unfamiliar space when you do that.
Right.
And it becomes easier.
Yes.
And you start to get results from that. So I think for me, it was stepping into that uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
And just, like, no, you need, okay, so you got no. How many times?
Right.
Yep.
Because
if it's just one,
yeah,
you're not doing it right.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
Nope. 100%. And what you'll learn, is kind of like what you were getting at, the more you do it, the less uncomfortable it becomes.
100%.
And I for me, I can't speak for everyone. For me, it was always, or at least the excuse I told myself was, I don't want to push you because then you're going to get upset. And then I'm not going to close it anyways.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we think people, now I know society in general is a little sensitive nowadays, right? Like we actually probably can't even say death. We got to say unalive. I don't know. But that's where we are.
Right.
But most people are like, as a whole, society's soft, but most people, especially our clients, are not that weak.
No, of course not. And honestly, a lot of the times need to just be nudged a little bit more.
Correct.
And because they're thinking of it as, no, I will get back to you.
Yeah.
I still want it.
Right.
But then a week later, they're worried about, the latest episode that just dropped on their binge TV, not this insurance that was fresh on their palate.
Sure.
So it's about like opening their eyes and, hey, this is the reality of it. Mm-hmm. You're not going to call me back.
Right.
I'm not going to come back out here.
It's human nature. I mean, we all got something right there. Leaky faucet, I'll get to it. Or
100%.
the tire's a little low, I'll fill it up at some point.
Right.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You put it off, and then like 3 years go by. It's the same thing with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're thinking about it. It's in the back of their mind, but they ain't going to call you back.
Yeah. The next time that you're going to think about it is when you're in the hospital.
Exactly.
And at that point, I can't do anything for you.
It's too late. One of the worst client experiences for me was a client that I never met with. So it was an internet lead years ago. I called the wife. Well, I called the number on it. This guy's name. Wife answers. Yes, my husband. He needs some life insurance, but he works a lot. Man, our schedule's crazy. Jacob, I had probably 5 or 6 appointments scheduled with these people.
Yeah.
They cancel. They're not there. That. This was well before the days of virtual telesales.
Right.
Then I'll never forget the last day I called her, and she's like, it's too late. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, when she said too late, I'm just like, dude, I'm in the middle. I'm like, dude, it's like 12. What do you mean it's too late?
Yeah.
My husband passed last week. And I was like, I felt horrible, right? I'm like, dude, then I became like so putting on myself. Like, I should have door knocked. I should have done something. But that's the worst feeling in this business, to know that I had the opportunity to do something and I didn't.
Right. And that's hard. I mean, that makes it real again. And it's like, that's even more so why, put yourself in that uncomfortable position.
Correct.
And be real with them. If you have somebody on the line or in front of you at that moment, let them use that third party story as an example of, that's fine. I get you want to wait. You're not ready. That's okay. But, I had this person that did that once. Yep. And then they called me back and it was too late.
Yeah. Sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah. But it's what can you do? You just get back at it and make sure you push harder with the next client. It's like what you said about the death claim. Dude, once I had my first death claim, it was like, dude, I am not leaving a house until they buy a policy or they ask me to leave.
Right.
Because I know how real it is.
Yeah. And it's easy, especially in the beginning for new agents, to kind of just like, it's not, you're kind of missing that light of what we're doing.
Correct.
Where you're like, okay, so, like we can make this amount of money doing this, and we're trying to get these policies, and what kind of policy am I going to do with them? But it's like, wait, there's another piece to this.
Correct.
And so that's where it's just like, okay, there's a whole nother aspect to this.
Absolutely. And we touched on early on what we're going to talk about today, how to hit Hall of Fame your first year. And it's those things. Like, people, like, what's the secret sauce? Dude, it's this.
It is.
It's having the right mentality. It's not being afraid to push. It's getting out of your comfort zone, and it's putting your clients before you.
100%.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Work ethic.
If you want things you've never had, you have to do things that you've never done.
Absolutely.
So and that goes inside and outside of the job. It's getting past that first objection.
Yep.
It's, making those phone calls even when you don't really want to make those phone calls, stepping into that uncomfortable and becoming more comfortable with the uncomfortable situations.
Correct.
Is going to take you to that next level.
Yeah. And it's okay. Like, who the hell wants to sit and talk about death all day?
Right.
Like, it's okay to acknowledge that.
Right.
But guess what? You're in the wrong business then, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, I remember clients, I don't really like talking about death. I'm like, bro, you filled out a life insurance mailer.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about it, bud.
Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. But, dude, congratulations on the great year.
Thank you.
What is your goal production-wise personally this year?
Well, I already got the jacket once.
Okay.
We got to go back.
Got to go back, right? Can't go back. Okay.
Yeah. I told Sean at convention, I said, my next goal, now I just got to make it Christmas. I got to get the green one too.
There you go.
So now I got to get agency.
Absolutely. And you've been recruiting?
Yep.
Yeah. What's that been like?
It just adds another ball into the juggling.
Yeah.
So it's busy, but it also I love it because it keeps me sharp.
Yes.
And there's for me, they say that you're never too fresh into this to start recruiting.
No.
To a sense, yes. But to do it on your own and not rely on other people and, reach out to those other people, you do need to do that.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know everything.
Correct.
And you don't want to instill into these newer agents something that's not correct or not going to put them on the right path.
Right. And the beauty about what we do is because it's simple, anything that you're about to go through recruiting, I promise you, Matt, Jarrett, somebody else that that you work with has already gone through it.
Right.
And if not, then you got us, Sean. Like we've been in this business for over 15 years.
100%.
There's nothing you're going to run into that someone hasn't already ran into.
Right.
But then it's on you. And that's the last thing. I love that this business is on you.
Right.
Good, bad, your success or lack thereof is because of you.
I love it.
The system's proven. There's too many people. Year one, you may have had no, we didn't have Hall of Fame, bro.
Yeah.
No one producer, Mark did like 300K.
Yeah,
We're like, oh my God, that's insane, Now it's like you're barely on the leaderboard. You 300K? Yeah, whatever. Where's the Hall of,
Yeah.
But we didn't have anyone to look to.
Yeah.
Now, 10, 11 years in, dude, there's example after example after
example. It's a business in a box.
Correct.
And it's like, if it's not working for you,
right,
it's something you're doing.
It's something you're doing. And maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe watch this. I'll be great at it. You don't know that.
Yeah.
But try it.
Yeah.
You never know. But you better be willing to work your ass off.
Absolutely.
And you better be willing to manage this and get uncomfortable.
100%. And that's not for everyone.
It's not.
Yeah.
But if you can do those things, I'd be willing to bet you could have success here.
Yep.
So appreciate you, dude. Keep kicking ass. Guys, get registered at fflconvention.com. Tickets are on sale now for next year's event. Those will sell out quick. Go to the Ignite Conference in Phoenix, Arizona, June 6th. Go to igniteevents.com to register for that. That one's free. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with all your agents, and we'll see you next week right here on The Next Level.